2025 is here and we of course are going to continue creating videos for you. Also, something that never changes is we offer Windows 11 Pro retail keys. For just $12.50, purchase one today and you are good to go for the end of the year when Windows 10 is end of life. Beyond the official Nintendo cartridges and Joy-Cons lies a hidden forbidden kingdom, a digital frontier untouched by Nintendo's watchful eye of Sauron, and it is bursting with passion, creativity, technical amazement, and this is the world of PC emulation and game modding. This is a world where things are only whispered in forums, Discord servers, carefully preserved in the corners of the internet where Nintendo's Eye of Sauron don't reach yet, hopefully never will reach. So fans there not only recreated the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but enhanced it beyond recognition, like PC modders always do. The strange thing, it is now 4 official Nintendo games which were never released on the PC, including one of the best, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So this is where Breath of the Wild actually runs native in 4K 120 FPS. Texture packs are so nice, so crisp at 4K, you can see the stitching in Link's tunic. We have an example, amazing weather mods that actually sync the skies of Hyrule with their own real-world forecast. And it gets even better, because we actually have VR mods. So with that, you're not like watching Link playing, running, doing a sword fight. You are actually Link. So this is the Zelda we all love, but just way, way better with PC mods. And of course, this is the part where we say, Nintendo, if you're watching, please don't be a little again and, ban content, trying to always pull things offline. Admire the creativity, the amazement that people have put into your games on the PC community. So yeah, this is going to be a bit tricky. I really don't hope Nintendo is going to be really whiny about this, but we're going to tell about this anyway because it is just amazing. So to truly appreciate the modding marvels of Hyrule, we must first understand the emulators that make them possible. How are we able to get this technique onto PC? So we have a couple of them actually. We have Cemu, Yuzu, and Runix. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. And this is the 3 force of emulation that brings Zelda adventures to the PC realm. So Cemu, this is a Wii U emulator, and that's been a game changer since its debut in 2015. This was originally closed source because it went open source in 2022, broadening its horizons to Windows, Linux, and macOS. Its claim to the fame, it is running Breath of the Wild in stunning 4K 60 FPS thanks to community-driven graphics packs and performance tweaks. So what about Tears of the Kingdom then, the latest installment exclusive to the Switch? That's where Yuzu and Runix come into play, and these emulators have been instrumental in bringing this amazing game to the PC, allowing modders to experiment and enhance the game beyond its original scope. And that's what it's so amazing about. This is not just about emulating the game because you can just play it on your Switch. No, we can make it even better. However, it's worth noting that the journey hasn't been without any obstacles because in early 2024, Nintendo took legal action against both Yuzu and Runix, leading to their removal from official platforms. However, despite this, of course, the emulation community remains resilient. Enthusiasts filling ways to continue their work, emphasizing the importance of game preservation and innovation. So you can just say simple, this is piracy, but what if you own the game and you just want to make it better? What if you own the game, it runs on a horrible performance from the Switch one? Let's be honest, the Switch one is just horrible, and you actually want to play it in good 60 FPS. I think those are the ways you should appreciate emulation. I know Nintendo is very old-fashioned, and it's not that long ago that they would actually monetize all Nintendo content that you would put online on YouTube. They, loosened up a little bit, but they are still very extremely old-fashioned in this. However, through these emulators, now the gates of Hyrule have been flung open, I would say, inviting everyone to experience Zelda, hopefully in full 4K 60 FPS, and even it gets crazier in virtual reality. While Breath of the Wild is celebrated for its art style, some textures can appear less detailed when viewed up close. So Long live the Mono community and its amazing solutions, high definition texture packs that breathe new life into every corner of Hyrule, also the unfinished low texture is an example. So one standout is the 4K texture pack by HD Packs. It's relatively simple and efficient name. And this pack upscales pretty much every texture in the game, from terrain and foliage to character models, but also an example UI elements. And this results in a more crisper, more immersive visual experience that remains, of course, faithful to the game's original aesthetic. And I would say, Nintendo would just make a remaster out of this, sell it for full price again. But hey, here we have PC modders. So these enhancements aren't just about high resolution. They also involve, very big attention to detail. So inventory icons, fonts, and even subtle environmental elements receive a facelift. So this makes the world feel more vibrant and alive. So installing these texture packs are pretty straightforward. If you're using Emulation, it's usually just a matter of placing the mod files in appropriate directories. However, it's pretty essential to ensure compatibility with your emulation version, of course, to avoid any issues, but I'm not going to into full detail of that because then I'm pretty sure Nintendo will knock on my door and shoot me in my face. So I'm not going to explain it here, but the installation of installing these texture packs are even simpler than using a mod organizer for Skyrim, an example. And this transformation is absolutely remarkable because you'll see it everywhere, whether you're just roaming mountains, exploring shrines, or just simply taking in the scenery. These enhanced textures really elevates the experience. So absolutely recommend it if you want to experience these Zelda games fully with the power of PC graphics. Here's where things get really interesting, because imagine just stepping into the world of Hyrule, not just controlling Link, but seeing everything through his eyes. So thanks to the ingenuity of the modding community, this dream finally became reality with VR, but also regular first-person mods for Breath of the Wild. So Nintendo's official VR support via the Labo kit offered somewhat of a glimpse. This was, of course, no way near an actual VR experience. So modders really took things now a step further, developing a true comprehensive VR experience that allowed players to now traverse the entire game world in first person, maintaining smooth performance, high-resolution visuals, and also be able in VR. So these mods, often utilizing the Semu emulator in conjunction with tools like Reshade and SuperDepth 3D, transformed the game into a fully immersive adventure. So players can explore shrines, engage in combat, and interact with the environment as if they were truly part of the world in first person or VR. However, achieving this level of immersion was not without challenges, because the game's dynamic depth buffer and other technical hurdles require careful configuration and powerful hardware, of course, to ensure a seamless experience. Because keep in mind, you're not just like natively rendering this, you're all emulating it, and that makes it very hard for your hardware. However, PC hardware is just so much more ahead of the old Switch hardware. This is possible, of course, with modern hardware. So despite these obstacles, the community's dedication has resulted in an amazing first-person and VR experience that just really makes things different. This is something that Nintendo never will be able to pull off. And so, it's great to see this finally able to do for yourself in the wonderful world of PC modding. The creativity of the Zelda modding community doesn't just stop at visual upgrades, first-person mods, or VR mods, because some of the most striking changes come from how fans have completely reimagined the world of Hyrule through character and gameplay mods. This game has slowly becoming somewhat of a Nexus moddable game in size of the availability of mods. In many of these mods, Link is replaced by a more familiar character from across pretty much any pop culture world. An example, we have Goku from Dragon Ball, of course, soaring through the skies on this Nimbus cloud. And to also, battling a Hinox, an example that has been transformed into Shrek. So these funny and strange mods sometimes bring a real fresh and humorous twist to your more serious Link adventure, your Zelda adventure, I should say. But it isn't all about humor or parody. Some mods actually take a more serious and thoughtful approach. An example, the Linkle mod introduces a fully realized female protagonist complete with their own animations and voice acting. So this gives players a new way to experience the story without changing the original purpose and heart of the game. And also beyond changing appearances, modders also have improved how the game plays. One popular tweak removes weapon durability, an example, and this allows players to focus more on exploration and combat without worrying about equipment constantly breaking. I think this is a very requested feature in the Switch version of the game, but of course that is not possible on there. And if there are players looking for even deeper immersion, there are mods that sync Hyrule's weather to the real world condition. So if it is raining outside of your window, it will be raining in game too. And this would make the experience feel even more connected to your own world. So through character swaps, gameplay tweaks, and creative new mechanics, the community has found countless ways to refresh and expand the experience in Breath of the Wild. It shows just how much passion and innovation fans really bring to this game on PC with modding. Behind this amazing, thriving Zelda modding scene is just a community of very passionate and dedicated people. We have modders, we have artists, we just have fans, and they all come together to create, share, and improve on one of the gaming's most beloved series of Zelda. Especially the last two games on the Nintendo Switch were really, really amazing. Alongside this creativity is the constant watch eye of Sauron named Nintendo. So Nintendo has a long history of very strictly protecting its intellectual property. Of course, this is not a bad thing per se, but Nintendo usually way overdoes this. Like I said earlier, not that long ago, they would copyright claim every Nintendo video, every bit of gameplay as their own. That's, I think, how far they are from the real digital world we are in right now. So, an example, like I also mentioned earlier, in recent years they've taken legal action against the popular emulators Yuzu and Citra and have issued takedowns against many fan projects. So these actions have sparked ongoing debates about the legal way of modding in Nintendo games, and also encountered that game preservation and fair use. So for many in the community, emulation and modding aren't about piracy. They are about keeping games alive, improving them, and offering new ways to experience them. Most people have the original Zelda, played them on the Nintendo Switch, and they just wanted more. They wanted better frame rate, an example. I think this is the biggest issue with especially the Switch 1. Of course, we're going to get the Switch 2 in a few months, but the Switch 1 just had horrible optimization, horrible hardware, and you just want to play these games actually in 60 FPS. And with PC modding, you can do that. So despite these risks, the Zelda modding scene just continues to grow. Fans organized through forums, discords, and private communities, sharing their creations and helping each other, keeping these projects alive. So looking ahead to the upcoming release of the Nintendo Switch 2, it has now excitement but also uncertainty, because new hardware often brings new opportunities, but it also raises questions about how accessible and moddable Nintendo's future systems will be, because it will all be about emulation. And emulation is, of course, way more harder to run than run it natively. So for now, the modding community stands really strong with the Switch 1 hardware and the amazing mods we have seen so far. But let's see what's going to happen if the Switch 2 is being released. Maybe also these games finally run native 60 FPS on the Switch 2, which is of course then finally a reason, if that's the only reason you play it on the PC. But many players use it for the other amazing features. These Nintendo games are becoming somewhat of an almost Nexus mods kind of game, where you have so many options to fantastically mod your Zelda. And I think something like a first-person view, to get all this amazing immersion is just worth alone to have it installed on PC. Well, the problem is Nintendo could easily fix this by just releasing it on PC, because I think PC isn't really, I would say, battling with consoles like the PlayStation or the Xbox is. And I think, Nintendo is never going to do that, because the Switch 1 and 2 are going to sell incredibly well. So despite that, I think the modding community regarding these amazing Nintendo games is just truly something amazing, and it is just great that these hidden modding communities are out there. And I would say let's hope that they will exist for a very, very long time. So What do you think about all of this? Are you actually using emulation? Do you actually own the game? I'm pretty curious about that. Let me know that in the comments, and I hope to see you at one of my next videos.